What up, Eagle Talk fam?
What's up, guys? We are back with another one.
We are back. Okay, today our subject is the riskiest thing that you can do is only have one source of income.
Yeah. Pull up for this one.
Pull up for this one. But before we get into it, Corey, I would love, let's go back down memory lane. Mm-hmm. Let's think about the worst job that you, since we're talking income and what you need to do, what's the worst job that you have ever had?
If I had to think of the worst, it was probably working at the Taste of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, under the hot. I did it actually for two companies. When I was about a freshman, I did it for Doc's Fish.
Side note, if y'all ain't never had Doc's Fish, that fish wish. Yeah. Oh, I'm hungry right now. A junior fish wish would go so hard.
Yeah, so I did it for them. This is back in like $5.25 an hour days.
Okay.
And then I did it for my family's business, Kenny's Ribs, where we, you got the pit, you under the pit, you frying chicken, it's hot, it's 100 degrees in Chicago, you got, 10,000 people out. It was the worst, man. It was a great experience, but it was just something that I didn't have to do too many times in my life.
Yeah. It's hard for me to think about the worst job because honestly, I think that when I was at the time I was doing what I was doing, for the most part, I liked the stuff. Mm-hmm. I worked at Taste too. I was actually at a fried dough place. Like one of my teachers, always hired students to work at this fried dough place, like funnel cakes and stuff. Mm-hmm. So even though it was hot and stuff, it was fun. Like when I worked retail, I used to get so excited by seeing a long line and getting the line down, being the fastest person. So that was my Taste thing. I used to work at Carson's. I used to work at La Collection. I think though, when I think about the worst, it might not have been the job, but when I worked with not great people in terms of management, or, I have been teaching under some administrators that we're just nasty,
right?
Quite honestly, do you have a heart for the children, or you just want a title? So I think that those made difficult work environments. But for the most part, I think while I was doing the jobs that I was doing, mm-hmm. they all were a pretty good fit at the time. Okay.
That's our experience. Would we touch on the best job or no?
Okay, what's your best job that you've ever had?
It's not a job, but I'm living it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably say real estate entrepreneurship, 100%. But the diversification on how I generate income from the business.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a great way for us to segue, because I would say too. Again, it's just evolution, which is why I love doing different things, because my business is evolving from not just serving my clients, buyers and sellers, but as a team leader, and now with my other podcast, Real Estate Bestie, mm-hmm. where I'm in a space where I'm coaching and supporting other agents, helping them untap that sauce they might not know they have. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love it. I love it. I could do it all day. Talking to people and just seeing that light bulb go off, and knowing that I'm sharing things with them that they're going to go out and win with immediately. And then sharing Jesus at the same time. Yeah. It's the best. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So let's hit on the subject.
Yes.
Just the dangers of getting paid one way.
Yeah.
Right. I quickly noticed in my late teens, early 20s, that I had a couple of family members that were buying multifamily properties. Mm-hmm. I also had my uncle had a really, really close friend that had 600 doors or something crazy.
Yeah.
And then I had my dad that had his best friend. They both retired from CTA. But he bought rental properties along the way. And I knew that was the play. Point blank, people are always going to need a place to stay, and you're getting that monthly income, right? I knew that I would have a job in the beginning, which I did. I worked at the restaurant with my uncle, and then I left to start my real estate journey. But along the way, I was buying rental. I think I was 24, 25 when I had 7 houses. I had two flats and 5 houses. And then I got into flipping and then the market crashed. Long story short, I got back in the rental game when I got here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm only saying that to say that I didn't know. I saw that early. Okay. And then we were talking about hedging your bet. I hedged my bet with the barber school, meeting somebody, dissecting the business and his numbers, and him kind of showing me what I needed to do to get my own situation started in 2009. And here it is going into my 15th year. It's still up and running, making money every single day, every single month. And I'm grateful that I was a student and didn't think I knew everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those are just a couple of my examples of my businesses that pay daily and monthly. And then I can talk about the real estate wholesaling and all that stuff a little later.
Well, let's get into the mindset of maybe the person who is watching this, right? Because I will tell you that I was there, when you started your entrepreneurial journey, and from my mindset, so it's like we saw something similar, but we had 2 totally different takeaways because. To me, and this is what I think a lot of the way a lot of us are raised, right? You go out and you get that job that is going to be your sure thing.
Yeah.
Right. And to, just to the defense of my parents or your parents, that in the world that they lived in, right, that sure thing job was something for the most part that was dependable, right? You didn't hear of people getting laid off in the 70s, 80s, quite like it is today.
Yeah.
So I was taught, you go to school, you get a good job, and then you want to be off, right? So I want my time to be my time. So when I would see people with property and things like that, that actually seemed risky to me, right? And then let me even take it a step further. Even somebody like one of the most entry level ways for someone to gain a different stream of income might be through like multi-level marketing. The people that back in the day it was like selling your phone service or, Mary Kay or things like those people seemed like they were bugaboos to me.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that what they were doing was hedging their bet, because if you only are, if you're just dependent on one stream of income and anything happens, right? Then it can be very detrimental to your family. And the subject of this came up because I was listening to a podcast. I want to say it was Chalene Johnson. And Chalene says, I don't believe, and I'm going to say this a million times, I don't believe everybody should be an entrepreneur. Because I do think that we live in a society that makes entrepreneurship look a certain way, and everybody is not cut out for it. But she said, but I do believe everybody should have more than one way they're making money, right? And I think that's where people get tripped up, because they think if I'm not an entrepreneur per se, then how am I going to make money? And her thought process around it and the way she explained it was that if you're like your job, you might be dependent on this other company. You don't know the back end of your corporation, how they're managing money, who they're going to be bought out with. You don't know your health situation and all these other things. So if you are only dependent on your family and the people who are counting on you, you only have one way to support them. When the bottom falls out, and in the life we're living with inflation and everything like that, bottoms are falling out. It could just be a very dangerous space to be in. So we just want to maybe even give some ideas of different things you can think about for additional income, and share with you how we have, Corey is not an extremist, but I think that
extreme.
You're extreme. For the average person listening, going out and being uber aggressive with real estate might be overwhelming to start with, but what are different things that we want them to consider when it comes to having different streams of income?
Okay, I'm glad you back me up on that.
A little bit.
I mean, like rewind it.
Yeah, rewind you.
Because
Yeah,
I can talk like everybody know what I'm talking about. Okay,
Yep.
So I saw again early, kind of like you're talking about the multi-level marketing. It was a whole lot of what you spoke of, but I think one of them was energy. right? And everybody for 3 years were talking deregulation. Well, I never saw the market deregulate. I don't know if you...
No, yeah, you did.
Did I?
Yeah, because you think about like there used to just be one cable company. Now there are choices. You don't have to just you don't have to just have. Oh no, the market has definitely deregulated, but I don't know that those companies I don't know that it happened in the way those companies thought it would.
Okay, that's the point. That's the point because we were thinking, right, that
you have to go through me if you want a different phone company.
And to get to that $1 million a year, so I didn't. That's what I didn't see, and maybe I didn't stick around long enough to see it.
Yeah.
But what I decided to do was I decided to bet on myself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be real estate. I'm glad you said that, right? Because I remember back in the day, my great grandmother, used to, and she had a job, but like on Saturday and Sunday mornings, she would have friends come over and she would be doing hair.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm preference that to the career that I got into. I'm licensed in 2 different states right now. Right. Sure. I'm a real estate entrepreneur. I have rental properties. That's fine. But if I wanted to bet on myself again, I can get out here and hustle and make $1,500 a week cutting hair.
Exactly.
You follow what I'm saying? Especially with the price of haircuts nowadays.
Exactly.
So I think that's the point that I'm kind of making when you're talking about the companies folding and certain things like that. It's kind of like when my mind goes back to the real estate. Yeah, I can have a house that I'm making X amount of dollars a month in rent, but I believe in brick and mortar.
Yep.
Okay. If I have it for 2 years and that house burned down tomorrow, State Farm's going to cut a check for whatever amount for replacement costs, right? Mm-hmm. That's more of a safer bet as opposed to me believing in something kind of like you saying. You don't understand the back office, what's really happening. One CEO was in 1 year, another one is out the next year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You just have no control.
You have no control. And I've had friends, who have gone through, unfortunately, layoffs and different things like that. And it's devastating, right? And at the point of that devastation, now they're forced to, now you and all 800 other people that got laid off are going out to the same type of positions. Mm-hmm. You're forced to take whatever the severance is. And as opposed to, like, let's even say you're not getting laid off, but your job is not keeping up with your expenses, right? It's not keeping up with the cost of living and things like that. What is it that you can be doing? And you brought up something great that I think a lot of people can discount is like, what are you already good at? Mm-hmm. What are some of your natural talents and how can you go for it? Yeah. And do those talents. So, I'm thinking about, like, I have a neighbor who bakes cakes. She bakes all of our cakes in the neighborhood. I'm thinking about myself. Like, it dawned on me, like, okay, yes, I am a real estate broker agent. I do a really good job at that. But you know what? I have a lot of knowledge that I can be sharing with real estate agents, and teaching is my gift. Yeah. So how can I now use that gift to not only support to solve a problem that someone else has, but it can also be a different income generator for us. I'm thinking about your mama. I love your mama. Hey, boo. That years ago we told her you should be catering. Yeah. She was working for a restaurant. Anytime we would have an event, everyone would talk about how great the food was. And we would always tell her, you should definitely be catering. It's something that you're already good at. It's solving a problem. You have tons of people. And for whatever reason, she didn't pursue it. I think she's doing a little bit more catering that way now. But, if you you can literally sit down and think, okay, I need an extra $1,000 a month. What can I be doing? Like, how many catering deals can I do per month that I can bring in that extra $1,000? Something that I already love anyway. But unfortunately, what a lot of us do is we become so dependent on the fact that somebody else is going to manage their business and manage. Like, we're dependent on them to provide for our families. Yeah. That if something happens and they're unable to, now we're stuck. Then I'm gonna give you a flip side. Corey and I are both in real estate. The real estate market looks a lot different in 2023 than it did in 2024. I dare to say if we didn't have rentals. It did in
2021.
2021, yes, I'm sorry. But I dare to say if we didn't have rental property, if we didn't have stocks, if we didn't have different things that we could gain income from, then we may have been in trouble this year. Yeah. And this, again, is not a scare tactic, but it really is just something to help other people think it through. And it might not be straight up entrepreneurship, But what are you doing for your company that you might be able to consult small businesses on?
I'm gonna go back a little bit to when you were talking about teaching and it being your gift. I think a few years ago we noticed in a book that was introduced to you that if you just knew about 10% more than everybody else, right? I remember us having a conversation. I was like, that person just read this book, right? And then we were kind of like, well, let's just read the book, right?
Yeah.
The same thing, and just doing just a little bit more. Not so much you can create a business out of it, but you can definitely create income.
You can create some income. You can create some opportunity.
When we first got here, I was doing real estate, and I was telling Corey, I was like, what happened was me and my old partner, Corey Simpson, we had the bright idea to every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to jump on a website and look at what estate sales are in our area to try to buy the house. And then something hit me like, I'm walking on all these estate sales and they got all of this stuff for sale, right? They're selling everything like it's labeled, whether it's $20 or $300, right? I just started buying stuff and selling it on Craigslist. Just
remember when you used to do gold?
Yeah, I remember, and I still know how to buy gold.
Yeah,
I still got all of that stuff. Another great example, right? That's something that I just found somebody downtown that I built a relationship with. He had been buying gold 25, 30 years, taught me exactly what to do. Do you know to learn how to start buying gold can probably cost you less than about $150? Once you get your assets and your scales and your loop, you in business.
Yeah.
Right? All you got to do is go around and ask people if they got gold for sale. That's one I forgot about. But going back to, I found myself in all of these estate sales and just looking around like they got to sell it to somebody.
Exactly.
Right? And they not asking retail. They trying to get rid of this stuff. So I would go with it was just a game, right? How can I turn 500 into 1,000 this weekend?
Yeah.
And I did that for months and months. So I hate, these subjects are kind of weird for me because I'm a little different. It goes back to the extremist side of me, but I don't think it really takes a whole lot to figure out how to generate. What it takes is a decision. Yeah.
Right. It takes a decision. And I'm even going like, as you're talking about the goal, it reminds me of Gary Vee. How he's like, look, go find something at the dollar store and put it on the internet for $2.
He did that with baseball cards.
Exactly. So finding something. But look, I'm gonna even go even just a little bit like lesser than that. If you got some extra time or you need extra money, it's nothing wrong with go out and get a part-time job either.
Yeah.
Like I struggle with, I'm thinking about somebody right now in the real estate space. I actually did a YouTube video about this. Like, what are other side hustles that you can do in between deals? Because sometimes you have to fund your dream.
Yeah.
But I think that we can become so stubborn and think that I got to put all my energy and all my eggs into this basket. But baby, if you ain't eating, you know what I'm saying? If you're stressed about money every single day, then we need to figure out, okay, where is the low hanging fruit where I can go out here and generate some income. And for some people, it's just as simple as, okay, do I need to work overnight? Do I need to Uber? Do I need to DoorDash? Like, what other things can I be doing so that I don't find myself in this rock and a hard place? Because here's reality, y'all. There is like, I know that there are stresses in the world, but financial stress is a different level of stress.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
It can break your spirit. It can break your marriage. It can break, a lot of things. But for a lot of us, it's an ego thing. Like, we don't feel like we need to be doing anything else. And sometimes that's something else that you open yourself up to doing can unlock a whole new realm of potential that you didn't even know that you had.
Let me tell you a story that I'm embarrassed to tell.
Okay, don't be embarrassed.
Well, I'm not embarrassed because of the story. I'm embarrassed because I didn't recognize the opportunity. Okay. So when we first got here, I thought that I would work in Chicago, and I wasn't doing real estate here. Yes, I was driving Uber, and I was driving all day for $200, $250. And then
let me back up. I remember when Uber, I remember when you first started driving Uber, and people not laugh, but they don't believe when I told them this, because it was like, we went to Chicago and Kennard was driving Uber. Remember, he bought that van.
He bought that van.
He bought that van. And we thought, like, this is a lit. Like, so you mean to tell me no matter what? And I mean, we were not, I think I was still teaching at the time.
You were.
And we were trying to figure it out financially. And we were like, wait, so we could just Uber and get like, we ain't never gonna worry about our rent at the time. We were like, we could do, like, it wasn't a humility
and the money
thing.
Came like instantly.
Yeah, it was like, this is brain, like this. And I know Uber has changed.
It was just like nobody with a vehicle should be broke.
Should be broke, right? But okay, continue your story.
So I'm driving Uber. I'm $1,000, $1,200 a week. I'm doing what I got to do. Then I realized that if I got up earlier, between like 5 and maybe 8, I can get the airport runs. Is paying $50, $60, $70, and then I'm done for the day. I got my day. So one day I get a call in Love Field. I pick up this young whippersnapper at the time, and he's telling me, because my thing was I'm collecting business cards from most people that I'm driving with, right? Because we're new here.
Yeah.
And he's telling me that him and his friends were starting a company, and they it was almost like Uber, but you could be taking food to people. I'm not understanding it. You can just put it in the thing and then you can just deliver the food to people and we gonna pay you for it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I got his card. Do you know who that was?
What?
He was one of the owners of DoorDash.
Oh wow!
I had no idea.
Wow.
I didn't know DoorDash. Like he said it, but
because it was a new
so
concept
freaking
then.
new.
Yeah.
But I'm saying all that to say, like, you can put yourself in environments, and then you look up, you got an opportunity, right? Yeah. No different than the barber college. I have those skills for the rest of my life.
Yep.
Literally, I look at my barber right now. He charged $45, $50 a cut, and we talk about it all the time because he has after hours, right? And he charges $150 after hours. If you got to stand and cut your hair, you charge $150. But if he got to come to you after hours, he's charging another $250. It's set up like this, it's the chair, the everything. He's figured out how to create
you figure out what
$180,000, $200,000 a year situation. So my thing is, worst case scenario, I still got my hands and I can color, I can do everything that I used to teach in the school. So again, if I wasn't open to that opportunity in 2008 and 2009, open that business, here it is 15 years later. I can't even tell you the amount of barbers or instructors that have went out and created their own barber shops, right? Which now they create entrepreneurs or barber schools. I think it's about 4 of them that's opened up a school. It's been amazing. And if I wasn't obedient to that situation, then I wouldn't have been able to help the people that I've helped.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, Eagles, this is what we want you to do. We want you to, if you have one stream income, we are not shaming you, right? Because you followed the script that has been set out for most of us.
Right.
But literally sit down and write down 10 things. Like, what do you like to do? Do you like to write? Do you like children? Do you like to sing? Do you like to, teach people about HR? Do you like to do taxes? Like, what are some things that you like to do? What are some of your talents? And then think, okay, how can I take this thing that I like and how can I go win with it? Mm-hmm. Because I guarantee you that there is a space, right, for your niche, a niche, niches.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Niche.
There is a space for your niche. Like, what problem can you solve through the thing that you like to do? And how can it make you some more money? And then this is the next thing I want to say. The last thing is like, and it's okay if it don't make you $1 million. Like, some people feel like if it's not gonna make me, $999,000 today, I don't want to do it, baby. An extra $1,000 would go very far in a lot of lives, So just starting to think through, okay, what can I do so that I can build a nest egg, so that I can have something else coming in? Because if worst case scenario, if something does happen and my dependable thing is no longer my dependable thing, that I don't have to go all the way belly up. I have something to draw from.
Yeah, I think the moral of the conversation is, at some point, especially starting out, we all are going to have to trade time for dollars. Yeah. It is what it is, right? Whether you're working at McDonald's or if you're a teacher. But I think the long-term vision should be to get into something for yourself.
Yep.
Where you have some ownership and hopefully some control.
Yep.
And that just makes sense when you're talking long term now. So I hope that this message was received well. And again, we don't know it all. We only speaking from my experience. But I don't think we're wrong, you know.
Well, no, but we're right.
I mean, I just don't. I don't think we're wrong. I've seen it time and time again, and I've, you know, this is not our first time speaking freely about it. And I'm pretty passionate about it because I'm somebody that I feel forward in a lot of things, but I'm definitely happy that we bet on ourselves to take care of our family. So.
All right, Eagles, that's what we got for you. But you know what we need you to do? Go ahead and hit share on this episode. I know that there is somebody that came to mind that you were like, ooh, Cut and Ronnie need to hear about this. Whoever it is.
He been cutting grass for the neighborhood that whole time when he can just start that landscape.
Exactly. So go ahead and send that episode. And if you could give us 5 stars, thumbs up on YouTube, we would really appreciate it. And we will see you next week, Eagles.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
Next time.